You spend your days fighting against the current. Your mind races with to-do lists, while your body tenses with each challenge. The struggle feels normal now, pushing, forcing, controlling every outcome. This endless battle leaves you exhausted, yet unable to rest. The solution is not more effort. The answer waits in the space between your thoughts. Everything truly does get easier when you let it be. This simple truth changes everything. The tension you carry is not from external problems. It comes from internal resistance, that constant grip on reality, trying to bend it to your will. Most people believe struggle equals progress, but this hidden resistance drains your energy, clouds your judgment, and disconnects you from genuine peace. When you learn to release this pattern, doors open that effort alone could never unlock. You might think letting things be means giving up or becoming passive. It sounds like surrender, like weakness, like watching life pass by. But that is not what this means. Letting things be requires remarkable strength, the courage to trust that not everything needs your constant management. This approach demands more wisdom than forcing ever could. Only when you stop will you notice how tightly you have been holding on. When you release your grip on that difficult conversation, instead of rehearsing it endlessly, something shifts. Inside, when you stop explaining yourself to people determined to misunderstand you and simply exist as you are, breathing becomes easier. For the first time in years, your shoulders drop away from your ears. Not because life suddenly became perfect, but because you stopped fighting what already exists. Society teaches us that ease is suspicious, that value comes through struggle, that worth equals productivity, that if you take a moment to breathe, the world will leave you behind. But this belief system is not ambition. It is anxiety disguised as dedication. It is fear masquerading as discipline. And this pattern surrounds us completely. You check notifications the moment you wake up, not from excitement, but from fear of missing something urgent. You plan every minute of your day, not from genuine organization, but because unstructured time makes you uncomfortable. You analyze every social interaction not from curiosity, but from worry about judgment. Your mind never stops because stillness feels like failure. Life works like a river, not a machine. You cannot control every aspect with precise adjustments and constant monitoring. Life flows naturally when you work with its currents rather than fighting against them at every turn. The harder you push against natural rhythms, the more exhausted you become. Most situations resolve themselves when you step back and allow space for natural resolution. That relationship where you keep defending yourself, it does not need more explanations. It needs room to breathe. That creative project you force into rigid deadlines, it waits to unfold in ways you cannot yet imagine. That emotion you try to fix with distractions, it simply needs acknowledgement without judgment. No teacher ever showed us how to wait patiently. We learn to attack problems immediately, to fill every silence, to respond to every message instantly. Yet life rarely works according to our timelines. Sometimes clarity arrives only after you stop demanding answers. Sometimes relationships heal when you stop forcing conversations. Sometimes the path forward appears when you stop searching so desperately. Letting things be does not mean abandoning responsibility. It means recognizing what truly requires your attention and what resolves itself without intervention. It means saying, I have done what I can for now, and I trust the process from here. It means understanding that your value never depended on controlling every outcome. True peace comes not from perfect circumstances, but from releasing the need to manage every detail. When you finally loosen your grip, something remarkable happens. Life moves forward without your constant supervision. It requires only your presence, not your worry, not your anxiety, not your constant planning. Just you, fully attentive, completely aware, genuinely engaged with what stands before you. This approach feels foreign when you have lived in survival mode for so long. You trained yourself to solve problems before fully understanding them, to answer before truly listening. When nothing demands immediate action, your brain actively seeks problems to solve, creating issues where none exist. This addiction centers not on chaos, but on control, the false security of believing you can manage every variable. Consider that what you see as problems might actually be openings. Perhaps those unexpected obstacles are redirections towards something better. The delays, the rejections, the unexpected changes, these are not walls. They are doorways to new possibilities, alternative paths, unexpected opportunities that your careful planning could never have discovered. Consider how many moments you have missed while mentally rehearsing future conversations. How many sunsets went unnoticed while you scrolled through your phone. How many genuine connections slipped away while you worried about making the right impression? How many quiet mornings disappeared while your mind raced toward deadlines and expectations? The practice of letting things be brings you back to the present moment, back into your physical body, back to a version of yourself that no longer chases life because life now unfolds naturally around you. The constant reaching stops, replaced by receptive awareness. When you stop trying to control every situation, people around you change too. Not because you told them to improve, but because your calm presence no longer feeds into collective anxiety. You stop trying to fix others, prove your worth, defend your choices, or manage group dynamics. You simply remain grounded, present, authentic. This steadiness communicates more than any words could express. You become the calm center in chaos, the steady voice amid noise, the living reminder that peace comes not from controlling circumstances, but from releasing attachment to specific outcomes. Trust does not always appear confident or certain. Sometimes it looks like sitting quietly with discomfort and choosing patience over reaction. Not from indifference, but from understanding that forcing solutions often creates bigger problems. This fundamental change transforms everything, not because you worked harder or became more disciplined, but because you finally stopped interrupting the natural unfolding of events. You allowed space for organic resolution. Most people never realize how much tension they carry until they attempt to sit in silence, not just physical stillness, but mental quiet. Try sitting for 5 minutes without distractions, without planning, without problem solving, just breathing. You will feel the immediate discomfort, the mental twitch, the urge to check devices, the impulse to make lists. This response is not boredom. It reveals a nervous system that forgot how to simply exist without constant activity. You have operated in emergency mode for so long that calmness feels wrong. Silence feels like falling behind. Stillness feels like wasting time. Relaxation feels suspicious because constant stress became your baseline. Peace seems like a luxury when struggle feels like virtue. Here stands the truth rarely spoken. Peace is not the reward after completing everything on your list. Peace forms the foundation for meaningful living. To access genuine calm, you must break the habit of needing to categorize, understand, explain, and control every aspect of your existence. Clarity often arrives not through more effort, but through patient observation. If you want regular reminders to free yourself from this exhausting cycle, subscribe to this channel now. Each week, we explore practical ways to release struggle and discover genuine ease. Subscribe before continuing. You deserve tools that actually work. Acceptance does not mean dramatic resignation. It means quiet acknowledgement. This situation exists exactly as it is. It may not match your expectations, but it represents your current reality. And fighting against what already exists only creates additional suffering. Wise gardeners understand that forcing growth often damages delicate plants. Look at nature around you. Trees do not strain toward the sky. Rivers do not fight gravity. They follow natural principles, responding to conditions rather than resisting them. You belong to this same wisdom, designed to flow, not force. You were never meant to sprint through every season of life as though nothing matters except measurable achievements. You were not designed to constantly justify your existence, your choices, or your emotions, just so others might approve. Thingsby means finally meeting life exactly where it stands, instead of dragging it toward your preconceived expectations. Your purpose is not controlling every outcome. Your purpose involves learning to navigate uncertainty with grace, trusting direction even without seeing the complete path ahead. Perhaps for once, instead of chasing self-improvement, optimization, or perfection, you could simply breathe. Not because you have given up, but because you finally trust that when you stop forcing progress, life naturally moves forward. Something remarkable happens when you release control. You suddenly notice what was always present but invisible before. Your attention was previously consumed by planning, worrying, analyzing, and comparing, missing the beauty directly before. You could not feel connection. You could not hear subtle messages. You could not appreciate simple moments because your focus remained fixed on problems, improvements, and future concerns. The dual benefit. This practice does not just make life less stressful, it makes life more visible. You begin to notice beauty, hidden beneath noise and distraction. You recognize how many precious moments disappeared while you remained occupied with productivity and control. This pattern is not your fault. Our entire culture reinforces these tendencies. We learn to view rest as laziness, to interpret letting go as failure, to see life as a constant competition requiring relentless effort, even when exhaustion overwhelms us completely. Perhaps the goal was never climbing higher but sinking deeper, deeper into present awareness, deeper into your physical body, deeper into aspects of yourself requiring no proof or improvement, only genuine attention and acceptance. Most people attempt to improve through addition, more goals, more systems, more information, but transformation often happens through subtraction. What changes when you stop performing in conversations and speak honestly instead? What happens when you stop planning 10 steps ahead and fully experience this moment? What happens when you stop trying to fix everyone around you and simply meet them exactly as they are? Real power comes not from controlling circumstances, but from remaining steady regardless of external conditions. You no longer react to every emotional trigger. You no longer shift with every changing situation. You no longer depend on others' responses to determine your self-worth. You develop stability not because everything works perfectly, but because your peace no longer depends on perfect conditions. Within this steadiness, natural healing begins. Not through force, not through effort, but through permission, the quiet decision to stop fighting against reality in every area of your life. Life resembles music more than mathematics. It unfolds in rhythms, not formulas. Some melodies make sense only when you stop analyzing and simply listen with full attention. You do not need to solve everything immediately. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to constantly improve. Just allow this moment to exist exactly as it is, because your next chapter might not begin with effort. It might start with permission. Permission to pause, permission to release control, permission to stop treating your life like a project and start experiencing it as your home. If these words resonate deeply, take a moment now to subscribe to this channel. Type "I am learning" in the comments below, not for algorithms, but as a personal commitment to this practice. Each week, we explore these truths together, creating space for authentic living without pressure or performance. Subscribe now for regular reminders that you deserve peace without struggle.